Saying those things she said to someone who had cancer, that's not okay. Saying those things she said to abuse victims, that's not okay. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am ℎ𝕣𝕠𝕕 and I am the eclectic herbalist. So in today's video, I'm just kind of doing a continuation off of my protection video that I posted. I did mention I would be discussing a hex I did on someone last year in kind of a story time. I have already filmed this, but there's some things I forgot to mention and I was kind of all over the place in telling it, and so I kind of just want to calmly, not as aggressively and not be all over the place tell it, because I would be lying if I say this person or this particular person, her actions don't infuriate me. Hate is a big word, and not only is it a big word, but it is a lot of energy to hate someone. And I don't hate a lot of people, I dislike a lot of people, but I hate this one particular person. And I want to stress that though she did maybe one thing to me that irritated me, but it's, to me in this situation, remaining silent is being compliant, like in all those other situations. I'm watching her do these things and say these things, and for me, sitting back, knowing that something could be done and can be done, but not doing anything just didn't sit right with me. So that is the reason why I hexed this individual, though her particular life does not really involve or affect me in any way. However, the hate and vile things she said affected others. One particular person, I don't know her personally, but I have made friends with her through the app. If you hear my children in the background, they are in summer break, so they're gonna be home, they're gonna be wild in the living room watching TV. Anyways, the one particular person she was cruel to, I don't know personally, I literally only know her through Instagram, but she is a sweetheart, and just the things she's going through in life, she didn't deserve what was said to her. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video, and I want to start off first with the differences between jinxing, hexing, and cursing. A jinx is benign magic, just kind of put forth to annoy someone. So one jinx I read was every time the person saw you, they'd have a headache. That's benign, no big deal, they don't have to see you every day, but when they do, they get a headache. Hexing is to cause bad luck and ill intentions. So you don't necessarily mean to harm the individual or nor have it last to an extended period of time, but you do mean some sort of negative intent when you do it. Whereas cursing is intended to harm the individual severely, or not severely, but harm them in general. I haven't looked too much into cursing because I don't plan on cursing anybody. Hexing is about as far as I will take it, especially after seeing how powerful this one was. But yeah, curses also can go throughout the person's lifetime, throughout their generations, down their whole family. That's what a curse is, where a hex doesn't necessarily do that. So also, I want to mention my kind of stipulations on hexing people. As many people, when they found out I hexed this individual and they see the likeness of what I said I wanted the hex to be in accordance to what is actually happening with her, a lot of people did come to me and kind of ask for me to hex their neighbor, their cousin, their sister, their ex on very little things. There's maybe one person that I spoke with that I really felt, yeah, your ex and his mom kind of deserve that, so I will do that for you. But everyone else was kind of just like, they're too loud, they're annoying, they're in my business. That's not necessarily a reason to hex or for me to hex someone. The reason I chose to hex this individual, again, was she was spewing vile hate. And when I say vile hate, it's one thing to call someone a name. It's one thing to pick on someone. But it's another thing when you use that insult over and over and over and over and over again in a very vile way, as well as do heinous, hideous, disgusting things. So, starting off first with the thing that she said to one of my internet friends, I'll call her. This particular friend had ovarian cancer. And during a disagreement with the person I hexed, the person I hexed told my friend that God gave her cancer because he knew that she'd be a shitty mom. And that's just not okay with me. She went on a rant one day about domestic abuse victims and how they were weak for not leaving the situation and how it would just never be her because she knows her worth. And me have been in a domestic abusive situation. It is hard to leave, so she was kind of just talking out of her ass because she's not in that situation. But again, it wasn't something that should have been said because she was talking to abuse victims about themselves and telling them they're weak. And again, to me, she wasn't saying it to me, but I kind of fit that category. It still offended me. What she said to my friend offended me. And it kind of goes on beyond that. When I say she's like a very interesting episode of Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant that just like never got aired, but all real, all reality, that is what she is. I'm not gonna get into like the catastrophe of like her as a mother, because that could be questioned as well, but that's not really what this is about. So there's those two situations that just aren't okay with me. Now, not long ago, and there's screenshots and there's video proof. She is not a person of color. She is a white woman, and there is video of her using the N-word in a negative way. She doesn't use the hard ER, and because she doesn't use the hard ER, she thinks that it is okay for her to say, or have said. But she still said it, there's video proof. There are screenshots of her talking with another person of color back in 2019, I believe. She said she said something, all lives matter, black people kill their babies, that's a problem, and that being racist means you hate black people, and that because they don't hate black people that they're not racist. Whatever. So now into like being a mixed person, this is where it really just irritated me. I mean, the cancer thing, the abusive thing, those infuriated me. But at the time that she had said it, I wasn't really well comfortable or into my magic or my path at the time, so I didn't really have an idea of what to do. But during this next phase is when I really kind of said, you know what, something can be done and I'm gonna do it. So the woman that I hexed, who already has 2 children, dropped her, at the time, second baby daddy, that boyfriend, and spent a year literally living out of a hefty bag, drinking her life away, looking for a male African American, a black man, to impregnate her so she too can have mixed children. So you would have also had to have kind of been following along with this story to understand why her going out and doing what she did was very clear intentions of her going out to find a black man to get her pregnant. Like I said, she was not a Black Lives Matter supporter, and there's other videos of her making racial jokes about Asians and eating dogs and things like that. So it wasn't very sincere feeling. Like, just the timing, how it all played out, things she said in the past, her going out and literally bar hopping. She was hopping on a lot of things until she found a guy that got her pregnant, who is also a person of color, got her pregnant within a month. Mind you, at this point, her second child was only maybe 2. She like left when he was like 1.5. So did get her pregnant in like a few weeks of meeting her, and throughout the entire pregnancy, she posted nothing but mixed babies. Gorgeous, big brown eyes, big curly mocha skin, like just beautiful babies, just writing the weirdest captions. It was uncomfortable and distasteful considering the things she had said about Black Lives Matter and black people in the past. So before their first child is 1, she winds up pregnant again. The second pregnancy, she again did nothing but paste little beautiful mixed baby twins every chance she got, just saying the weirdest things. It was a fetish. She clearly fetishized mixed children after her sister had one, and that was an issue with me. All of the things she said in the past and has done in the past were an issue for me. The things she continued to say, she had her son in 2019, and in 2019, like I said, she had sent a message out to another black person talking about how black people like to kill their babies and things like that. There is like I said, just a more broad list of how, like, the horrible things she said, the horrible things she's done to people and to her own children and to people who have helped her out. She's not a kind person. And honestly, to go through the whole grand scheme of every single thing she did would probably make this video over an hour. But to sum it up, saying those things she said to someone who had cancer, that's not okay. Saying those things she said to abuse victims, that's not okay. Saying or calling every woman that was maybe a pound or 2 heavier than her at the time, calling them a fat ass bitch or a fat bitter bitch, or saying their man was fat. Like, literally the only insult she had was calling people fat, because she was thin. And after her second pregnancy, she snapped back quite quickly. After her third pregnancy, she didn't, and she doesn't really use that as an insult anymore. But it's very clear that she has a problem with weight, and she's terrified of herself gaining weight. So during the middle of her second pregnancy with her twins, there was definitely something she did or said to someone that was like, okay, tonight's the night. Again, please keep in mind, she is an atrocious human being, and I am leaving a lot out. A lot about her as a mother, and a lot about how she treated people that gave her shelter when she needed it. Just everything, because again, she literally posted it everywhere. So here's the actual story time of me hexing her. So during a full moon, I did grab a jar. I'm not going to give the actual ingredients of the jar because, again, I haven't gone over like an actual spell, and this is kind of in the basics, so that I will save how to create a hex jar for later. But I did get my jar and all of my supplies. And for me personally, we don't own the land or the little house we live in. We rent it. So I don't want to create any negative energy within the realm of the house that I live in, but out on the land where we don't even have fences or anything, I kind of feel more comfortable. So I gathered all my supplies and I went outside to my little bonfire pit that me and my husband made, and he was so cute. He'd come out and be like, do you need anything? Can I get you candles? He was adorable. Nighttime, lit my little fire pit, filled my jar, and as I sealed my jar, I chanted exactly what I wanted to have happen. Now, I wanted only 3 things to happen, but I was not increasingly specific as I gave them. So, 2 of them are kind of basic. The last one, again, if you don't know the whole story, you will think I am evil, a vile witch. But it was like in the best interest of not her, but the offspring. So, the first one was that I just didn't want her little perfect relationship to be as perfect as she like claimed it to be, because she was one of those girls that would always brag and shove it in people's faces that her men never cheat, though she helped men cheat on their girlfriends. Her men never cheat. Her man is always happy. She was made for men. This, that, and the other. It was just irritating, and so I was like, you really sought that boy out to give you mixed children, and that's not what a relationship is. So I hope that's like not as great as you put it. The second one was that her picture perfect life wasn't as picture perfect. She constantly lies and edits. I mean, that's also neither here nor there, nothing, no big deal. But her editing her body while also in turn calling other women fat and calling them out their name and saying her body is perfect when it obviously is not, that's an issue for me. I mean, nobody's body is perfect, and I'm not one to body shame. I'm really not. I think it's disgusting to body shame, whether you're on the heavier side or on the like thin. I consider myself Skeletor because I'm thin. I'm underweight though. I'm trying to gain weight. It's an issue. But I would not use that weight as an insult to people. That is disgusting. That's, be more creative. Let's be more creative. Like, if you can only go after a race or a weight, you're still in elementary school. I'm not gonna argue with you. You're dumb, in my point of view. But that is what she did. She'd body shame constantly. I body shame her because I know she sees it and because I know it bothers her. That's why I body shame her. But I do it because, in my mind, I am an eye for an eye sort of person. My mother always taught me, do to others as you'd want done to you. And up until high school, I did that. And up until high school, I got treated like a rug. So during high school, I started treating others how they treated me and others. And that's the respect that they got. If they disrespected me, I disrespected them. And honestly, when I started doing that, I stopped getting disrespected. So personally, in my mind, I don't take a high road for bullies or body shamers. Because in my mind, if you continue to take the high road and let them continue to do what they're doing, they'll continue doing what they're doing and see no wrong. So I'll be the one to show you the wrong if you are in the wrong. Again, she's not a big person. She's not. She's still technically thin. But she is at a weight or a size that she was herself calling other women fat for. So if you see me on the internet, screenshots, what have you, of me going in on someone, and it's like, Ambrosia, that seems really mean. I'm only mean to those who deserve it. So again, her picture perfect life not being as picture perfect as she makes it. And then lastly, the one that everyone will be like, that's a little strong, that could have gone really down south, that could have gone several million more negative ways than it did. So the third thing was, like I said, I did not bring in a lot of her parental skills or a lot of things like that, but just know it's atrocious. Having kids by multiple men is not an issue to me. Having kids by multiple men within a 3-year 3 to 4 year span, maybe 5 years, is a little gross. Especially when you were jumping around trying to get pregnant, doing it unprotected. Again, she brags a lot. So that's just not healthy for you, for your children, for your future children. Children grow up, and I think a lot of the Insta mom community that are on the kind of train wreck side, the reason they're on the train wreck side is they kind of forget that kids grow up. Kids put 2 and 2 together. Kids realize things. I am a child out of wedlock. I am a side chick child. I am a bastard. Okay? My father married his wife while my mom was pregnant with me. My mom didn't know she was the side chick. So by the time I was maybe 13 is when I learned that. I never understood why my stepmom hated me until I was 13. Imagine the like downpour of emotions, because I always thought she just hated me to hate me, and I hated her back.
The fuck?
Fucking nat. And I hated her back. But realizing that that was the case was like almost hard. Like it hurt a little. And then getting into a serious relationship with someone and just fathoming them having a child with someone else. Couldn't do it. Children find things out. Children learn math. Some of these women don't realize that kids will realize that their brother, who's only 1.5 years younger, and the other brother that's only 3 years younger, both have different dads than them. And also notice that they get treated different. So, because of that, that's like a red flag for me. She wanted her mixed kids so bad that she really dumped her second kid off with the dad because he had a dad. So the third stipulation, let me get into it, I know I kind of derailed there, was that she would not bring another life into the world. Mind you, this was in the middle of her pregnancy with the twins, so that could have gone atrociously wrong because I was not really thinking about how that would happen, just that she wouldn't. And I really didn't consider that, like, she could miscarry them. That's not good. So definitely be specific and careful if you choose to do crazy things like that. But yeah, that was the third one, that she wouldn't bring another life into the world. Now on to, finally, all of the things that have happened and continue to happen, actually, from the time that I filmed this originally to today. More things have happened to her. So let me reposition myself into a comfortable state. Alright, so first things first, that her and her man's relationship wasn't as great as she said. Now, mind you, I was not specific. The universe literally watched this woman tell abuse survivors or abuse victims that they were weak for leaving, and so what the universe did is, about a month or so after I completed the hex and buried my jar, we found out that her current boyfriend, the baby daddy of her last 3 kids, right before she found out she was pregnant with the twins, drug her by her hair across the kitchen floor in front of their child. And apparently her sister had been spilling some tea to one of the pages, stating that there had been times that she had been on the phone with the girl I hexed, and she could hear her boyfriend in the background yelling at her, calling her names, calling her stupid, things like that, just abuse. So we know he is physically violent with her. She has started calling herself dumb. The way she acts like she can do no wrong, so that's why I don't feel too bad. But he calls her stupid because ever since being with him, she has called herself stupid, which she never did before. So there's that. And then they fight like almost constantly. She had to take a sex course, I believe, to better their sexual life, things like that. She put that out there. She said that. Those are words from her mouth on her own Instagram. I'm just repeating what she said. So that was that. The next one was that her picture perfect life isn't as picture perfect. Ever since she had the twins, she says she wants to be real and raw with motherhood with her followers, and I do get that, but there's a fine line. She's been very raw or just has not cared at all. A lot of her racial rants and her homophobic rants have been screenshot and sent to companies that she advertises for or promotes for, and some of those were pulled from her. So like little things like that, just things that people needed to see. So like, no big deal, whatever. And then kind of the big one. Now, it wasn't until this one where actually I realized my hex was really working when we found out about him yanking her across the floor. But after she had the twins, she decided to have her tubes removed. Not tied, full on removed. Apparently that can be reversed. I don't know. Apparently it can be reversed, but I don't know what the universe has up its sleeve. This past weekend, she was in the hospital crying about having to have a hysterectomy. She said she may or may not have to have it. She's crying about having to go through menopause at 25. She's crying about having no sex life. But yeah, like, so the whole inner working for her having more kids is kind of depleting. So yeah, that, like, everything I asked for or requested of the hex has happened. I should have been a little bit more specific. Do I feel bad that she has been abused? As a domestic victim or survivor, I mean, I'd want to feel bad if it was someone else. I would feel bad if it was someone else. Had she not said that abuse victims or abused women were weak for not leaving, then I would feel bad, despite it being her. If she had not said that, I would feel bad. Because she did say that, along with every other atrocity that comes out of her mouth, that's why I don't feel bad. Every time she gets online complaining about her life kind of going down, her health kind of going down, most people would feel a little bad. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I would. You are my worst enemy for a reason. If I deal with something, you best believe I want you to deal with it, if not worse. I'm going to take what you give and give it back tenfold. I am not a Wiccan. I do not believe in the threefold law. However, I do believe in karma. From my experience, and I'm not trying to brag, and I'll knock on wood if I have to, but from my experience, I've had very good luck with karma. I'm not generally an evil-hearted person. However, if I need to defend myself, I will. If I need to show someone that what they aren't doing is cool, I will. I can be mean, but I'm not generally mean. I don't know. I just don't go around being an asshole for no reason. So I like to think of myself as generally a kind-hearted person, but I can get mean, I can get vindictive, and I can get baneful. And this was a baneful moment for me. Do I feel that that negative energy comes back to me? Not necessarily with her. There are some things that I'll be like, that's too much. The person I hexed, like I said, like I reiterated, she did a lot of evil fucking things. And so I felt it was in my place to give that back to her. So that's what I did. So that being said, that is my story time. It was quite long. I branched off a lot, but like I said, there's a lot that I did not mention, and a lot of what I did not mention kind of adds to why I did what I did. With all that I left out, it does kind of seem like I am being petty for no reason, but again, if to sit here and go over every little thing that she did that drew me to this point, we'd be here for quite some time. All you need to know is the only hex I have ever placed on someone was most definitely warranted. Anytime I am feeling just down on my own power, my own path, something brings relevance to my hex. And honestly, whenever I am feeling down and I think about that, it does give me the motivation and the confidence that I need to perform other magic. Because if I could do that, really just navigate the universe to who they needed to kind of focus on for a second, then I can kind of do whatever I really put my mind to. And that's kind of what my story time was about. Not necessarily just I hexed a bitch, but kind of the power that came from that hex gives me confidence, not just because of like what it's doing to her, just the fact that it was so powerful. I could do more. So with that, a lot of you may look at me different, think I am evil or petty, what have you, but that is all I have for today's video. I will catch you in my next one, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. So bye.